We are live. Good morning. I have some people. Hello, good morning, you lovely, lovely people. Let's get stuck straight in today. No messing around. People can join as they get here. Single stroke rolls, 80 BPM. Let me know you can hear everything okay. I am using a microphone today, which I think should be clearer. But let me know if I need to boost the volume a little bit. I have done a little test. So 80 BPM, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and right, left, 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 right, left. I wonder who you lovely people are this morning. I hope you're feeling fresh. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are. We got some glorious sunshine this morning in Hamburg. The cats are loving it. 2, 3, 4, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and I'm excited for a week of drums. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Really trying to make this so it just comes from the wrists. As always, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Loads to do today. Gonna do a little bit more than we were doing last week. Gonna push you a little bit more than I did last week. So we're gonna go up to 16th note rate with all of our singles, doubles, paradiddles. Don't be scared. Welcome new people joining in. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Good solid bass on your seat. Nice and firmly positioned towards the back of the stool. Straight back. Relaxed shoulders. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and trying to make it as much as possible. Just coming from a whip, little whip from the wrists, flick of the wrists. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and of course pointing the sticks between strokes to the sky, to the gods of drums, perhaps to Thor, god of thunder, asking him to stay away today, so that we can keep this beautiful blue sky that we've got here. Let me know how the weather is where you are. Good morning, Daniel. And good morning, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and Sebastian. Lovely to see you. 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and so we are just going to do this for 1 more minute. And then we're going to move up to a 16th note rate, double our tempo. I'm going to start counting that over the top of this, so we've got it in our mind. So it's 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a coming up soon. 3E and a 1 more bar, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, and let's go. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a staying relaxed, and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and if any tension creeps in, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a right, left, 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 right, left. You just got to breathe, let the muscles relax, let the energy flow. 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Did you have a nice weekend? Did you do anything? Probably not. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... We, on Saturday, went to the local market, which was still going. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, but very, very quiet. It was cold as well. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a blue sky, but cold. We trick ourselves after February, don't we? think it's going to get warmer. You got to wait till after April for that. Right, left, 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 right, left. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. See, a couple more people have joined. Welcome. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Right, left, 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 right, left. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. We then went for a little walk to the local park yesterday, Altona Folks Park, and we walked through the old racetrack. I think it was a horse racetrack. And a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Let me know how these 16ths feel, guys. Feeling the burn yet? 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. If you do start to feel that it's too much, take a break for a second, shake out the muscles, shake out the arms, and then get back on it. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So yeah, we walked through this old abandoned racetrack, horse racetrack. 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Really felt like we were in an apocalyptic movie, end of the world stuff. It was actually a little bit scary. We thought we weren't going to get out. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. We thought we were trapped for a little bit, but we got out in the end. I wouldn't be here otherwise. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. You can hopefully see this is still all wrists. So no fingers involved here, no forearm, pretty much. So let's try and hold this for another 1 minute, 45 seconds. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Right, left, 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 right, left. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And in about 30 seconds, we're going to go back to our 8th note rate, this time with doubles, double stroke rolls. Start thinking about what that's going to be. That will be right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. 1 and 2. Coming up now. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. And still thinking about 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thinking about these nice wristy strokes, full strokes that we're playing down to the drum, whipping the sticks down and then back up, pointing to the sky. And 3 and 4 and right, right, left, left, 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 right, right, left, left. What have you all been doing to get creative during the self-isolation? Obviously, my main creativity has been channeled into this and my new cats. Love to hear what other people have been getting up to. Making music, practicing more. Yesterday I was as well, I was teaching my father how to use Zoom so he can also do online lessons, online teaching, as my father's a piano teacher and a bit of a technophobe. But soon he will be fully into the 21st century. Left, left, right, right, 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 left, left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and staying relaxed, making sure your shoulders haven't risen up, tensed up. You got a nice solid foundation still on your seat. Everything feeling good. Aha! Seb has started sketching again. Really nice. Maybe you could do some online classes for this. I've always been rubbish at drawing. Quite like doing cartoons when I was a kid. I still have a report from my favorite teacher saying that my cartoons have wit and style. but not anymore. My drawing's rubbish now. So yeah, started teaching my dad about using Zoom yesterday, and from a man who didn't like using FaceTime, or didn't, he just wanted to make a normal phone call, suddenly he enjoys video calls and is looking forward to the challenge of doing these video lessons, Zoom lessons. Those of you who are not my students, you can contact me if you want one-to-one lessons on Zoom. And he's even talking about doing some piano lessons like this, doing some live YouTube live streams, which is super cool. I hope he does. I'm going to help him as much as I can with that, of course. He is 65 and has been playing piano for 60 years. So if anyone knows how to do it, he does. 2 and 3 and 4 and right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. You can see today I have left the door slightly ajar, slightly open. That's just in case one of the cats wants to walk in. If you spot them, the first person to comment that they've just seen the cat will get a free Zoom lesson. Left, right. We're going to go to our 16ths in a second. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Oh no, I'm counting wrong. E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Let's go straight into that. Right, left, right, left, left. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. If this is too fast for you, stick on the 8th note rate. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, left, right, left. If you are doing right, left, left, try counting the 8th note over the top, or the right, the 8th note, 8 doubles. Try talking over the top. It's not as easy as it looks. Right, left, right, left, left. That's confusing. Give it a go. Right, left, left. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Let me know how these are feeling, guys. Perhaps not now, but perhaps at the end of the session in the comments. Let me know how the 16th notes feel as doubles, as singles, as paradiddles. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2, the 3 E and a 4 E and a. You might notice that my arms are moving a little bit more now. This is, at this speed, a little bit. You want to start motoring a little bit. I'm kind of naturally starting to bring in a little bit of a snap with the fingers. I'm not really using a drop grab here. I am still trying to play these as full strokes. But it's hard to get that second beat of the double out as a full stroke. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a. So that, of course, is why we play and practice the secondary beat roll, which we will come onto after the paradiddle. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. If you're using sticks, you've got a bit more bounce than I have with my brushes. So perhaps a little bit easier. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But either way, this is why we must practice our secondary beat rolls and drop grab doubles. Start to sneak into that. Some molar motion maybe. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. No one in England or in the US pronounces Muller correctly, although he was an American guy, German surname, but I'm pretty sure he'd probably started using an American pronunciation as well. You hear some people say Moella and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Some people say Mola. Doesn't matter, does it? 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 3E and a 4E. Bit like Bowie, or is it Bowie? Oh, and it's time to change. Paradiddle. Oh, and 2 8th notes. 4, 1, 8 and 2. Hey, 3 and I can't count anymore from the 16th. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Being stricter on myself with the timings today, and it's not so easy. Keeping track of the timings, chatting away to you guys. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and remembering what the sticking is. 4 and remembering what the count is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and trying to stop you all getting bored by telling you some wonderful stories from my life. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. At least I amuse myself. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Seriously, would love to know what people have been doing to get through the boredom, the isolation. Have you been spending more time on Skype with people or on WhatsApp video calls or whatever, catching up with friends? 2 and 3 and 4 and taking up a new hobby, trying to learn something new. Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you've decided to start learning drums. Super cool. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and contact me for private lessons. And right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Link, contact link in the comment section, in the about section. One day I'll be like professional at this and stuff. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. New laws were imposed yesterday to try and keep everyone at home, to keep everyone safe here in Germany. Super interesting. Of course, a really good thing to do. And just as we were watching this news on catch up, we also saw the news that Angela Merkel, the German president, has now quarantined herself, as her doctor, who she had seen just a week before, has now been confirmed as having corona. So I hope she's okay. Wonderful, wonderful woman. A scientist. Very, very clever woman. Yeah, really hope everything is good with her. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Still letting these whip down from that 90-degree position. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Pointing to the gods of drums in the sky between strokes. Still don't know who the gods of drums are. If you've got any ideas for names for them, let me know in the comments. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Nice loose grip on your sticks. Never squeezing, never choking the sticks. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And I think we should move to our 16th note rate. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. 1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, sorry, I was going to lead you in there, but I confused myself. 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, hopefully I didn't confuse you too much, right? 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, well, because this is a paradiddle, really, we want an accent now on the quarter note. So let's get that. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right. We want a little bit of a steam train sound, maybe. Chicka, 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 chicka. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a chicka, 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 chicka. Lovely rudiment. Remember when I was learning this as a kid? Oh God, boring. Got to do paradiddles again. But if you sit with it, you find more nuance. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right. If this is too fast for you, you can go right, left, right, right, left, right, left, back to the H note, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. If this is too fast, let me know in the comments. It's good for me to know how everyone's doing with this. If you want me to make it harder, I might make things a little harder as we go along, but I want this to be fairly inclusive, so even people who have never drummed before can join in. After this, we'll be moving to a secondary beat roll, then take a little pause, and then we'll be looking at the rudimental ritual. For those of you who are new to drums or are not one of my students, the rudimental ritual comes from a wonderful book, The Drummer's Complete Vocabulary, 3 and a 4 E and a right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. The Drummer's Complete Vocabulary as taught by Alan Dawson. And it's a wonderful method for learning drums. I go into details in the previous lessons on the previous 3 rudimental lessons from the book. Today I'll be looking at lesson 4, but you can look back at the other videos to see the previous studies. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Oh, it's feeling nice, isn't it? Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. And I'd really recommend grabbing a copy of that book. Perhaps after all this is over, I will go into some more detailed videos on the rudimental ritual, where I will include the stickings underneath on the screen. But I want to keep this at the moment as simple as possible. Right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Seb, if you're still there, I do want to get you to do an animation for me though. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left. Okay, let's move to our secondary beat roll on the next bar as quarter notes. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud. Just for those who haven't seen my other videos, I do always like to explain the reason for this is because if we just play normal doubles, straight doubles, just trying to play from the wrist or whatever your technique is, we will end up, due to physics and gravity, the law of diminishing returns, with a quieter stroke. Right, right, left, left, a quieter stroke on the second beat. We don't want that. We want nice even doubles. So here we're practicing for a louder second beat. But as we speed it up, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, it should be that that second beat comes down in line to the same volume as the first. There are times when we'll use this as a sound. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Quiet, loud, quiet, loud. Right, right, left, left. There are times when we want to use full wrist doubles for a bit more power, and when we're playing slower, of course, that's really easy to do. Right, right, left, left. We'd use this in a shuffle rhythm to play a nice shuffle with the accent on the second beat. And as I've said before, we might want the accent on the first beat as a nice little backbeat, kind of with a delay accent on the backbeat with a kind of echo effect out of it. Right, right, left, left, right. So let's take this to eighth note. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Everyone good? Right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Interested to listen back to this afterwards to see what a difference my microphone has made compared to using the internal audio. Next step is getting some kind of dongle so that I can connect my GoPro as a second camera, and perhaps use it as the main camera. I've been looking for years at the Elgato Cam Link, but if anyone has any tips, any experience with anything that they'd recommend, that'd be cool. Otherwise, I'll just buy that probably. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Perhaps then I'll even start doing some cool two-camera stuff. Who knows? Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Quiet, loud, 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 loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. So, just going to do a minute or two longer on this, and then we'll just take a little break around the 30-minute mark. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. At that point, you can all take a moment to tell me how much you're enjoying this, how wonderful I am for doing this for you. What an egotistical guy I am. Important to have a little bit of ego when you're a musician, but not too much, guys. Leave that for the singers and the guitarist, the lead guitarist. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Let's not call it ego. Let's call it self-confidence, self-belief. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Should we just try a quick burst of 16ths with this before we go into little break session? Right, right, left, left, 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 right, right, left, left. Oh, that's tough. Oh. I'm not ready for this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 the 3 E and a. Definitely have to use the snap of the fingers, a little bit of molar. The E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Remembering to relax. The 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. This is, of course, the E. Why we have to practice slowly? Because when you start playing faster like this, you start to feel that tension in the arms and in the shoulders, perhaps, wherever. Doesn't matter. We don't want that there. Tension is bad. And I'm going to stop there. Bang on, 30 minutes past. Beautiful. So How are you all feeling? Have a little shake out, have a little sip of water or tea or coffee or whatever you have next to you, as long as it's drinkable. And then I would love to talk about one of my favorite drummers in the world. I'm going to say that about a lot of the guys I'm talking about. Jojo Mayer. Here is his wonderful DVD. I'll talk about that in a second. I first saw Jojo Mayer in clinic, so doing a drum masterclass in my hometown, Leamington Spa. And who are you? Andrew. Hey, good. Lovely to see you, know you're here, and lovely to know it's a sunny day in London as well. So yeah, I first saw Jojo Mayer in clinic in my hometown. Wonderful drum shop in my hometown, Dr. Shout out to Victor at Dr. once again. I will be talking about him in future and possibly even with him on here in future. But I was really lucky growing up that loads of drummers came through my rather small, modest town, including Jojo. And I was so inspired by his drumming. For those of you who don't know, he has taken electronic music, drum and bass as the main thing, and many other kind of electronic styles. Things where they've mashed together so many different samples and different program drums and whatever, that you think a human shouldn't be able to do it. And he's worked out how to do it. He's just insane. He's developed techniques. I mean, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put this on the record that I think he's up there with Buddy Rich for inventing new techniques. Buddy Rich, you know, obviously one of the classic greats. I'm not sure there's many other drummers you can say have invented as many techniques as Jojo Mayer, although I'm sure lots of people would argue with me about their favorite drummer being up there as well. But his drumming's just insane. So I saw him on I think it was a Friday evening in my hometown, and he was playing 2 days later in Birmingham, the next city across. And I begged and begged my dad to go and see him again because I think I was 16 at the time. I just was so inspired by him. So I actually went and saw him twice in one weekend. I was so impressed. And so he has this wonderful DVD, Secret Weapons for the Modern Drummer. I actually was talking about this in my first live stream, and unfortunately that was when I was having sound issues, so that doesn't exist. That part of the live stream doesn't exist. But this is a really, really wonderful DVD. He goes into detail on all techniques, on French grip, German grip, traditional grip, and he has these and all of the different techniques we can use with those, molar, wrist, full strokes, etc. And he also has these lovely animations where it kind of shows then inside the bones and inside the skin, shows the bones, so that you can really see what's happening when we make a stroke. So we have a better understanding of the physiology of drums, which is a really, really cool thing and really important if we want to be able to play drums for the rest of our lives without damaging ourselves, without injury. And it is possible to injure yourself, and it is possible even to make it so that you can't play drums anymore with perhaps a repetitive strain injury. Other things. Phil Collins, from a bad posture, has done his back, hurt his back so much that it really hurts every time he hits a drum. And I mean, can you imagine that? Your life's passion, whether you like Phil Collins or not, let's put that aside, your life's passion taken away from you. So yeah, we don't want to do that. Really, really horrible stuff. I saw Jojo more recently in Hoxton Bar and Kitchen in London with his band Nerve, who he has a couple of albums, I think, Jojo Mayer and Nerve, or Jojo Mayer's Nerve. And it's just him, a bass player and a keyboardist, and they make wicked live drum and bass and dance music. And it's just wonderful. So check that out on Spotify. There's a ton of great videos of him playing on his own and playing with his band on YouTube as well. So I really, really would recommend checking him out after this live stream. Top dude. So let's get on to the rudimental ritual. And today we are on lesson 4, which is flams. Flams, could be an easy rudiment. Many people, I think, make the mistake that it is an easy rudiment and don't spend much time practicing the flam. And So many people I see play terrible flams or just don't have confidence with their flams. I got caught out with this when I was at college. We had to, of course, I was studying drums, so we had to do rudiments for exams. You know, you think of being at school and doing maths and English and things like this. We had to sit in a room and do perfect paradiddles, perfect flams, perfect whatever. And that was one of many things that got us our grades. So I'll tell you what my problem was. I had always been lazy. I felt very comfortable playing a flam from the right hand, with the right hand high, the left hand low. So the right hand accent flam. But actually, I was terrible at the left hand flam. So I just always used one. And in a lot of contexts, maybe that's okay. If you just want to play some pub rock, bat, boom, boom, bat, bra, doom, da, ba, ba, boom, and just put one flam at the start of a fill, or you know, at the start of what is that song? Summer of '69, Bruce Springsteen. Doom, doom, I got my first real six string. Then you know that's enough. But we don't want to be pub rock drummers. If you're coming for lessons with me, I'm hoping, aiming a little bit higher than that. There's nothing wrong with pub rock drummers, but why not play for the opportunity to be better? So what we need to do is we need to practice them both ways. And in the rudimental ritual, he wants us to practice it first as a right hand flam, then as a left hand, as a separate exercise. You know, take a pause in the middle, or, you know, time yourself so that you know you're doing an equal amount of each, as we are today with all the exercises. And really, really focus just on getting that first thing right. So what is a flam? Let's break it down. You hopefully know this already, but let's think about it a bit more. The logic is that we're just trying to make a kind of slightly fatter, wider note. You know, we can't hold notes on the snare. We can only play a single bat. We don't have a dong like on a piano or whatever. So we want to make a slightly fatter, wider note. And there's a window of opportunity here where you've got two notes playing together. That's not a flam, that's unison. And then you've got two notes playing separately, completely separately. That's not a flam, that's just two notes in whatever rhythm your tempo is going to create that, push that into. So we've got a little window of opportunity where they sound good. It's slightly wider, or more on top of each other, but still separated just slightly. So what we want to do to get these nice, first of all, is imagine if you start the left hand low, the right hand high. As they fall, naturally the left hand is going to hit before the right hand. Excuse me. So let's have a look at that. Right? Easy, no? Not rocket science. But to get them consistent, still not rocket science, but not so easy. So let's play this now. I just want us to play 1 and 3 as the flam. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. An experiment. Oh, that's too far apart. Da-da. No, that's not a flam. Hang on. Blah. There we are. That's a bit more flammy. Oh, that's maybe a bit too on top. There we are. That's a nice flam. So just, the reason I'm asking you to just do 1 and 3 is because then you've got time between strokes to think. How did that feel? How did that sound? Am I resetting to the correct position? If you're using a mirror, which is a really good thing to do when you're practicing these all rudiments, all your drumming, you can even check that you're not doing strange things like lifting the left hand before the flam, or any kind of excess movement, making sure you're bringing the right hand and the left hand back to their start position. I'm going to play this on the rubber pad actually with sticks so you can hear it a little bit better. How's that feeling for you guys? I didn't actually look when I started this, so I may not be able to give us an even amount of time on both hands today, but you must practice them this way. You must practice for an equal amount of time both sides. Let's swap to the left. So now, now the left hand is high. I already admitted this is my weaker side. Notice, nice loose grip in both hands, flam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Flam, 2, flam, 4. How are those feeling? Hopefully good. Left hand flams. Keeping, I have to be really strict with myself here because I can see, and so can you if I'm not doing what I'm telling you to do. Keeping the right hand low, the left hand high, just letting the sticks fall. If you put too much, I am putting a little bit of impetus, a little bit of energy into the left hand to get a bit more of the accent. But if you put too much, you're going to end up that they just come together like that, unisons or almost unisons. So flam, 2, 3, 4. Do 30 seconds more of this, and then I want alternating flams. So in a second we start to practice to swap. And this, generally speaking, is the better way. If we need to do a group of flams in a row, which can sound cool, then we want to swap sides. Much, much better. Please don't call me out when I'm not following my own advice. I'm here to make you a better drummer and learn from my mistakes. Don't do the things I'm doing wrong. But no, that's pretty good, isn't it? Making sure, of course, we've got a nice solid foundation still on our stool. Nice relaxed muscles. And now let's swap to a lovely alternating flam. And I'm going to swap. Let's take a pause here because we want to start from the right hand. Unless you're a left-hander, of course. So, flam, 2, flam, 4. Wait, flam, 2, flam, 4. Flam. So now notice this lovely swap. I really love this feeling. First the left low and the right hand high on 1, 3, 4. And then the left hand high and the right hand low for that second flam. 2, flam, 4, flam, 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 2, flam, 4. In a second, I would like to now take this to a quarter note rate. Currently, we're playing, what's it called? Semi-breve. Thing we never really have to worry about as drummers. Just playing 1 and 3. Very rare. Boom. Boom. Perhaps in a really slow ballad. 3, 4, we might just play a little bass drum on 1 and 3. Nothing more. I notice no cats have entered the building while I've been drumming away. Let's see if they make a last minute appearance. If anyone will, it'll be little Mia. She's the tiny but brave one. Murphy, it's just a big scaredy cat. 2. So let's get to our quarter note. Flam, 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 3, 4, flam, 2, 3, 4. We flam. Really trying to be as military as possible with this. What flams do, of course, come from the military. All these rudiments do. All the traditional rudiments come from marching band drumming. So it's not that we have to play military. We can be a bit more loose. Quite a nice feeling. But it is good when first focusing on these things to be nice and tight and military. Tight like a toiger. And let's try loosening them up a little bit. There's a wonderful guy on YouTube. I can't remember what his name is. Lovely old guy. I'll see if I can dig him out for tomorrow. Old jazz drummer. And he's always really like dancing and loose with the drums, you know. This is kind of what I'm telling you not to do, right? Some guys will see you on YouTube and comment on your videos saying, hey, you got to keep your sticks close to the drums and stuff like this. Man, you watch the great drummers. They do what they've got to do. And we've got to look good as well. It might be that too military like this. If you're playing in a rock band, it's going to look weird. A jazz band, whatever, funk band. You're going to want to loosen up more. So feel free, if yours are sounding good, to loosen those out. Whether we're playing military or not, still, my grip is loose enough that, just like Dom Famularo would do, once had a masterclass with Dom Famularo, probably we'll talk about Dom Famularo in a future lesson. Your grip should be so loose that you can knock your stick out of your hand. Shouldn't be gripping the stick. He would go around the room. I'll just tell this bit quickly. He would go around the room in this masterclass and you'd be there drumming away. We were all there with practice pads and he'd just come up to you at points and go, bam. And if you grab, you know, if you were still holding the stick, you'd be, hey, no, that's no good. You don't want to grip it. If you're gripping too tight, you get blisters. I don't want dead skin on there, man. It's dead. Really, really cool guy. Really funny guy. So let's move on. That's part one of lesson 4 of the rudimental ritual. Let's move on now to the flam tap. Hopefully your flams are feeling good. The flam tap is a bit like a double stroke roll with a flam at the start of it. So if we were to take our double stroke roll, right, right, left, left, wait, right, right, left, left, and then flam that first note, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, whoa, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right. I'm confusing myself now, trying to slow it down and make it really perfect. Flam, right, flam, left, flam, right. I need to do this faster. Flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left. Then let's get the metronome on. Stop confusing myself and confusing you too. 3, 4, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left. This is why you should always practice things before doing a live stream to make sure you still know how to do them. Flam, right, flam, left. This actually used to be one of my favorite flam, left, flam, right, flam, left. One of my favorite warm-ups before a concert. Flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left. And now I can't do it today. The reason it's one of my favorite warm-ups is because flam, right, flam, flam, right, flam, flam, right, flam. Can you see if I take the left hand away, as I was doing with one of the rudiments on Friday, the drag parodied Lord, no, lesson 25. Really good thing to do, taking a hand away, putting it on the knee, putting it into the air, so you can think about flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, just what one hand is doing. You'll see that each hand here is doing 3 strokes in a row. So, if you've done a little warm-up before a concert, before practicing whatever, before a full practice session, with some singles, with some doubles, and then you do your flam taps, then it's a really nice thing. You're adding a group of 3 with each hand to your warm-up. Flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, flam. Both hands doing a group of 3 there. So let's just come back to that for a moment longer. 4, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left. There we go. Flam, right, flam. Found my military technique. Flam, right, flam, left, 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 flam, right, flam. I'm going to go for the style of this lovely dude who I can't remember the name of. Flam, right, flam, left. Because I like it when these swing back and forth a little bit. Right, flam, left. Let's take it up to an eighth note. Right, flam, left. Flam, right, flam, left, 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 flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, left. I'm gonna have to stop saying it now. 3, 4. Good. Excellent. So we just got a few minutes left today. Oh, I still want this actually. So we're just going to finish off with a flam accent. And this one is a slightly more confusing sticking. If you've got your rudimental ritual book to hand, lesson 4, get that open and look at it so you know what you're doing. Unless, of course, you've got this memorized. I would hope you've got it memorized. Sip of cold coffee. So, I love the flam accent. Really, really lovely rudiment. Wonderful rudiment. For years, I would play the Swiss Army triplet, which is a very similar sound, different sticking, therefore giving us different possibilities around the kit. Both wonderful rudiments, but I was a bit lazy for years, and I just used the Swiss Army triplet because I knew some stuff that I liked playing with it, a couple of grooves, a couple of fills, and I just... I was addicted to it. It's one of my favorites. So, you know, this happens, of course. Flam accent, though, now I think I prefer to the Swiss Army triplet because I bored myself with it, you know. Bound to happen eventually. You keep using the same trick, you're going to want to throw it out the window after a bit. So the difference is, and we'll come to the Swiss Army triplet in later episodes, the difference is that the flam accent alternates. So we have a right hand lead side, then switching to the left, back and forth, back and forth. And the Swiss Army triplet is just a one-sided rudiment, which we then have to practice as a separate entity on the other side. So here is the sticking. Flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Flam, right, left. Flam, left, right. I'm playing the right thing, saying the wrong thing. Flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Flam, left, right, flam, right, left. That is a thing to remember. I give you a second to slow that down. Think about it for yourself while I talk about it a little bit more. In the book, there is no, weirdly, accent written on the flam. It's called the flam accent. In my mind, surely there should be an accent in there. And I believe when I was taught it at college, we did have an accent on there. So it's cool to practice it both ways. Of course, we can practice it unaccented, and with an accent. I think I probably use it more with the accent. I think it kind of sounds cooler, but it's good to have both under your belt, of course. So really, really recommend you do that in your own time. I'm going to play it now for us. Let's put this onto a 3 rhythm. I'm going to play this now with the accent. If you find the accent confusing, just play them all as equal volume. 2, 3, flam, left, right, flam, right, left, 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 flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Finding that military technique for these slow flam, right, left, so that we're always setting up flam, right, left for the second, the next stroke. Flam, right, left, flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Music is all about the ups. Drumming is all about the ups. We're not hitting the drum. We're striking it, plucking the sound out. It's a subtle difference, but it's an important one. Woo! Flam, left, right, flam, right, left, flam, left, right, flam, right, left. Wonderful drummer and educator Daniel Glass talks a lot about this. Thinking not about the note you've just played, but what the next note is going to be. Flam, right, left, flam, left, right, flam, right, left, ta, 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 bra, ta, ta, bra, ta, ta, bra, ta, ta. How's that feeling for you guys? I would like, let's put the 8th note in there. I've never done this with a metronome before because I'd normally play it as a triplet. No, let's play it as a triplet. Let's have a look at this in 4 as a triplet to finish off, so a little bit faster. 2, 3, let's find our triplet count. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Flam left, right, flam right, left, flam right, left, flam left, right, left, flam left, right, flam right, left, flam left, right, flam right, left, flam left, right, flam right, flam. You know, I'm always singing these things. Really important to sing them, because if you can sing them, you can hear them. You know how they're supposed to sound, not just to your ears, but in your brain. And this means you can utilize them. You can start to imagine where they might go. Let's look a little deeper into that. So at the moment, we're just playing the 8th note triplet. But we could, of course, those of you, I think all of you, who are my students, who are currently watching, know this lovely rhythm where we play a 3 across the 4 in 16th mode, and we'll just play a group of 4 singles. You can flam the first note of the 4 singles if you want at the end to make the maths work out. So it's 4 times 3 takes us up to 12, and then 4 singles at the end. So it'll be 1 E and a switching from the trip, 1 E and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 E and a and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. That's really nice, isn't it? No, that's super, super cool. I love that. You could do a ton with that. Use that as a fill, split the flams around the kit. Even cooler, we can get these up to, well, not even cooler, but another cool thing we can do, get these up to 16th note triplet rate. That kind of thing. Super, super nice. So work on these, because I bet you haven't done as much work as I asked you to on them already. Really, really cool. So there we are, guys. That is the end of today's lesson. Thank you, or practice session, play along session, whatever you want to call it. I hope you all are well. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves and your family, and making sure to follow these social distancing measures that are so important for all of us right now. And I will be back every day, every weekday, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. UK, 11 a.m. here in Germany. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you next time. Like, subscribe, pass this on to your friends, whatever, and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Haben Sie einen sehr, sehr schönen Tag. Ciao.